Hello, welcome back to Heretical Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. These are the messages for the human design profile. If you don't know what your human design profile is, there is a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph, and your profile will be listed on there. No matter where you are in your knowledge, your awareness of human design, these messages are not necessarily meant to be educational. They're meant to be an additional channel of information or to receive a message, because not every Leo is a 4-1, or not every Capricorn is a 2-4, So, of course, self plug. Definitely be sure to check out your zodiac sign readings. I generally do those first, so all of those are up for your viewing pleasure. But yeah, so these are in addition to, or even separate from, I can't guarantee that they would coincide, But anyway, also there potentially might be a little bit of a change. I literally just found out, was it earlier today? Whatever. That CapCut updated their terms of service to where literally anything you upload into CapCut, they can fucking use, which is just gross. It's gross. I think that's really shitty, actually. And I don't want to use it anymore. And I don't really have a backup for it. And really all that I ever do with editing is I take out the sections where I'm just sitting here staring at the cards, because I don't know, I just kind of assume that people don't want to just sit in dead silence, and I don't know. I'm sure, like, if there is, a long enough break or dead air or whatever, that I could probably splice it out. Like, I did that for a while before I found CapCut, but it was very time consuming, and I just don't know if I feel like doing that these days, like going back to that. Like, we can't go backwards, bro. So anyway, like I said, you might just kind of notice videos being a little, you probably won't notice a dang thing, except for the potential for some spaces in there where I'm, like I said, I'm literally just sitting here staring at the cards, not saying anything. And if that becomes like the new norm, then I will at least try to notify, like inform you of that. I'm a manifesting generator. So, I will at least try to inform, like, hey, I'm going to sit here for a couple of seconds and like really look at these cards and feel into them. So anyway, I just fucking CapCut. Sorry for the F-bombs. Kinda. Actually, I'm not. I drop F-bombs all the time. Anyway, if you didn't know that about CapCut, and if you use CapCut, don't. Truly. Like, because then this video, like, was also saying that, let's say you edited your video in CapCut, right? And I don't ever use any type of copyrighted, I don't use music, I don't use anything, of course, like that, other than me talking, right? But if you use CapCut and you use a song that you don't have the quote unquote rights to use, and say CapCut uses that video for something, and they get flagged for it, you're the one that's on the hook for it. How shitty is that? And also, I just, like I said, I just think overall it's just a really crappy thing, and I don't think anybody should use it anymore. So with that being said, let's get into the readings. Great. So this is a reading for the 1-3 human design profile. Again, if you don't know what your profile is, there is a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph. I hope you're all doing well. Let's see what comes out for you. We have the 5, 10. We have the 10. Oh, okay. We have the 10 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. I wonder... I said 5 first before I even realized the 5 of Wands was out. We'll see. We'll see. Okay? Let me just... maybe like one more card or so for the 1-3s. The Investigator, Martyrs. It's kind of interesting. Like, we have the one card that talks about like conflict, competition, conditioning to, and then we have the other card that talks about burden and burnout and almost like kind of taking on too much, carrying too much. And also interesting, in the 5 of Wands, there's 2 snakes. They almost look like mirrored to each other. Judgment. Okay. The Strength card at the bottom of the deck, the Hierophant behind it. Let me make sure that there's not like a crazy glare before I start blabbering on again. Oh, I think we're okay. But yeah, so like when I was sitting here like shuffling, I'm like I'm staring more at the 5 of Wands. And I don't know, like I said or started to say, there's these 2 snakes on this card, and it's interesting because you can't really tell where one ends and the other begins. Like it's kind of like off the card, which to me is like giving this like blended, I just heard like codependent thing in my head. And then there's these 5 wands sticking out of or sticking into the snakes and a little bit of blood. It feels like there's something that was damaged or injured. There's like not any attention that's being given to it. Which is interesting. Wands have to do with the actions we take, the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion, inspiration. Like, how are you communicating those things? What actions are you taking towards those things? I also see wands as being information by way of experience, because that's what we get by trying things. We figure out what works. We figure out what doesn't work. What do you like? What don't you like? Which I feel like is very investigator martyr coded, because the investigator part of you is interested in the research. Your sense of security comes from what you know, right? Like just having information. The martyr part is the trial and error part. Like that's, you have to. try it. You can't just take somebody's word for it. Like I sometimes give the example of like, being told a pot is hot and you're like, what is hot though? Like a hot to you and hot to me might be totally different. Or I just need to experience like what a hot pot feels like, right? And you touch it and you're like, oh shit, that's hot. I mean, I'm sure maybe you weren't saying, oh shit, that's hot when you were a kid, but you know what I mean? Like you have to experience it to know what it is. And then you can share with other people, this is the information that I have on it. This is how hot it is because I've done it, and like I said, the Five of Wands is usually like a card of conflict or also competition. But at what cost, too? Like if you are trying to fit a square peg, if you are the square peg trying to fit into a round hole, that is causing harm to yourself for whatever reason. I don't know. Like I don't know. But fives are also transitionary energies. I mean, like there's a lot to be learned here if you see it that way too. You're learning about yourself, you're learning about your life, you're learning again about the things that you do want, the interactions maybe that you want to have, what makes you feel inspired, what makes you feel creative. I mean, there could be another person involved here as well. There are, like I said, two snakes on this card. And anytime I see like snakes, I like immediately think of growth, because snakes shed their skin when they have outgrown it, right? And like if they don't shed their skin, they will suffocate, or they'll like the skin, the dead skin will like get infected if moisture gets in there, which again can cause disease, which again, if not treated, will kill it, to be dramatic. So even, with these wands sticking out of these snakes, there could be something that is preventing your growth, preventing you from moving forward or even having a different experience. And maybe that is because whether it is a person, a situation, just a cycle that you're in, because of course, it can represent anything. It is because there is no separation happening there. Because maybe it's gotten to a point where it's like, I don't know where I end and that thing, person, cycle, whatever begins. But it is like stunting your growth. And like I said, right? I mean, like there is a level of harm that is happening there. So the book says disagreement, competition, tension, conflict. Oh, it says one snake with two heads. That's probably why. We can't see where one ends and the other begins because it's one snake. I still stand by what I said though. One snake with two heads pulls itself in different directions, which also fits. The Five of Wands represents conflict and change. This card indicates that there is tension and conflict going on, and it is getting in the way of your ability to move forward with your goals. This could be inner conflict, not knowing what you want for yourself, or it could be interpersonal conflict involving two or more people who aren't fully listening to or hearing each other. So you and somebody else, or you and multiple somebodies. I think that's even interesting too, the perspective of it being one snake with two heads, because both of those heads would have to be in agreement of what you're going to do, right? And if you are just kind of like going back and forth in your own head, like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yeah, like I'm going to go this way. No, I'm going to go that way. No, I'm going to go back this way. You know, it's really, it is difficult. And again, right, like, because even like these almost feel like arrows, and it's like almost making yourself vulnerable to influence, or like being vulnerable to following somebody else's directive or idea because you just don't want to make a decision, which is also potentially very harmful for ourselves too. Like if we give up our own authority because we don't want to make the decision. Also, it's interesting because I recently watched all of the Matrix movies in like succession. I don't even know the last time I had done that. But the thing that really stuck out to me this time in watching all of them was the Oracle talking about choice is just an illusion. You already know what you want to do. So in the first Matrix movie, I believe, when he goes to see the Oracle, she basically just tells him what he needs to hear, right? But she says in some part of that, I don't know, I can't remember like what the context was, but she says to him, you already made the decision. You're just trying to figure out why you made that choice. And that's where the confusion comes into play. Because maybe, you know, it could be a decision that surprised even you, you know, it could have an impact on your relationships. It could have an impact on your life, you know? So, and then that's where we start trying to, again, like fit a square peg into a round hole when we already know what our decision is, but the execution of that choice is what scares you, which again would be wands, because that would be taking action, right? It would be executing even that decision, which we have the Judgment card over here, which I haven't forgotten, but I mean, there is a decision coming up here that you will have to make. And that's the thing about life, you know. Truly, like life will let you go on for long enough, probably too long sometimes, before it'll be like, no, we're about to force a tower moment over here if you don't if you don't honor the decision, the choice that you have already made, because that's the thing. The choice has already been made. You've already made a decision. It's the executing of that now that is, you know. And then we have the 10 of Wands. Also, it's not lost on me that like 5 is half of 10. Judgment is 20. So we double 5 and go into 10, and then we double the 10 into 20. So it's like, what is that saying? Like, double it and give it to the next person or whatever. Like, I do think that it's interesting how that played out, like in the cards coming out here. So the 10 of Wands, I mean, 10s are completion. So you go from being in the middle of it to the completion of, you know, whatever it is. You know, the 10 of Wands, like I said, it does talk about burden, burnout. But we can see this whale here, and then this person, there's like these arms wrapped around it. 2. It almost kind of feels like being relieved of a burden. I don't know, like these arms around the whale is just giving comfort. There are also a few wands sticking out of this whale too. Almost like the energy of the whale is protecting you. Because if the whale wasn't there, right, like because it was there, the wands hit it. You know, like I said, it does feel like relieving a burden, like letting go of something that has become or has been a burden to you, or burdensome. And you know, I mean, it could be because you like recognize the impact that it does have on your life, on the cycles of your life, on what you even do, how you approach things, the goals, the aspirations, the, you know, like the future, like the plan that you have for your future. Like truly it's opening like new doors, feeling inspired by truly like a blank canvas is like how it feels. The book says burden, hard work, stress, achievement. A humpback whale swims through the silhouette of a body embraced by arms. The tens of tarot represent the completion of a cycle. This 10 suggests that you are finally reaping the rewards after investing a great deal of effort. There is a strong sense of responsibility with this card, for while there is fulfillment and energy, there are also new burdens. The dream is no longer a lofty idea, but a concrete reality that requires a lot of hard work. You may feel overworked and stressed, and this card urges you to figure out a more long-term way of dealing with these challenges. Perhaps delegating tasks is necessary. Also, again, you know, I like this person could be holding this whale in place too and not letting them move, which would feel like a burden. You know, it's like one thing to be in one place for a while. not necessarily like stuck, but like stagnant or stationary. It's also another thing if it is your choice, or if there is something else that is either holding you back, something or somebody that is holding you back, not letting you move, just creating more of a burden, you know? It's interesting because at one point, like I said, like it felt comforting, and now it feels suffocating. So maybe you are experiencing that too with whatever this is for you, where at one point it did feel like comfort, but the energy of it changed, and maybe now it feels like a burden that it is suffocating you. Or again, like because you have to like focus your attention and your energy on it, you can't focus your attention and energy on what's next, on your goals, on whatever, you know? And like I said, you know, we have the judgment card right after that. So that's what I'm saying. Like there is a decision that needs to be made here. And I love that there is this angel, which to me it feels like the energy of um life, God, universe, source, divine, higher self, what yourself, yourself, uh your intuition, like whatever it is that's like, no, we can't keep fucking around with this. Like I said, like this is 20. This is right before the world card. This is the point where you make that decision. What stays, what goes? How have I changed? How have I transformed through the process, like hello? through the fool's journey, because we start with the fool at 0, right? And then we end with the world card. So this is our day-to-day, journey through our life's experiences. And when we get to the judgment card, like I said, it's transformation. It is taking stock of the path that you have been on, and what have you gained? What have you lost? How has that affected you? Like, how have you changed? What ways do you still want to affect change in your life? Right? Like, what decisions do you want to make differently? What do you want to bring forward with you? What do you want to leave behind? The book says decision, clarity, change, consequence. A soldier comforts his weeping friend as a Valkyrie looms above. She wears the crown of Anubis, gatekeeper of the underworld. You will likely identify with either the soldier or the Valkyrie in this card. By acting swiftly, you may make a decision of great importance now. It will not be without consequence, but if you do not take control, life certainly will. We were just talking about that. Certain change is imminent, the kind that will leave you rattled. This does not mean the change is negative, for even if it is out of your hands, this could provide a burst of inspiration that you need. Veils will be lifted and your path will become clearer. This feels even more powerful than the Tower card. Like the Tower card is, like that'll affect literally the things that are no longer serving you. It'll shut down timelines that you've been waiting for closure on or just kept open with feelers just in case. Like, no, it'll slam the door shut on that shit. It'll, it can definitely be a little uncomfortable sometimes, but it'll only affect the things that are no longer serving you, not your whole life. This feels like truly breaking free of an energy, or it's like more oomph needed to be put into this, especially with the Valkyrie here. No fucks given. Like, this is what you need to do. The decision that you made, that is what you need to do. Not the one, not the ego one, the one from your intuition. The one that probably scares the absolute fuck out of you. The one that makes you want to literally cry your soul out of your body. The thing that you don't know if you can live without this thing. That's why you haven't. What was the word that I was using before? Executed it. Speaking of execution, right? And I love, oh my God, I love that we have the strength card at the bottom of the deck, because that tells me you will get through it. That it is truly the best thing for your life, for your path. And not only that, you'll see your path. You'll be able to take steps towards it. I love how on the strength card they have their heart literally outside of their body, but also like at their solar plexus. I feel like a little higher would be like where the heart chakra is, but solar plexus, creativity, expression. There's a moon and a sun, which to me almost kind of feels like the angel and devil thing, like that whole representation, like, when you're trying to make a decision. But there's these two like cities on her shoulders too, like, so I don't know, like maybe I was just thinking like that maybe your sun and your moon are pretty close together in your chart, or um maybe it's something to do with a full moon, because these are kind of, on opposite sides. I'm curious if the book Heart, Creativity, Power, Control. A warrior stands with her familiar, the little dragon, She bears two cities upon her shoulders and holds her heart before her chest. Strength is a card of determination and a call to compassionate fortitude. Emotion can be a weakness, but in this case, it can also be a power. Utilize the energy of your heart. Use the energy your heart has given you to conquer fear and control your path. Assert yourself in your relationships and at work, but remember to use emotion to steady your demeanor. Let the world witness your inner strength. I mean, truly, that is so perfect with this whole reading. Like, use the discomfort, the sadness, the devastation, whatever, that you would feel. Use that. But also, I mean, really, really connect in with your heart center. And it's cool that we have the Hierophant behind the Strength card, because I feel like this does talk about communities. There's this portal here too, which again, just makes me reiterate the whole, like, your path opening up. I mean, truly, like, the sky is the limit without whatever this burden is. And, following your heart here. The Hierophant says tradition, conformity, belief systems. A masked figure holds the flame of knowledge and beckons you into a mysterious inner sanctuary or sanctum. Like, where did I get sanctuary? The Hierophant is known as the High Priest in some decks. He represents established social structures and spiritual traditions. He is a source of knowledge outside us and teaches us what can be learned by word and by example. If the Hierophant has appeared in your reading, you may be feeling a need for a deeper sense of meaning in your life. You feel a call to learn and be part of something, whether that something is a group of people, an establishment, institution, or spiritual practice, which, hello, doesn't that just... that is just the perfect progression. I mean, it could be making connections with people that have the same interest as you, or getting involved in groups or community or work, whatever, that really does speak to your soul, or that you have like a huge belief in. It's like, it's not just letting yourself sit there and suffer because you decided to act on your decision, right? Like, you're just like that. I know that this is the right thing for me in the situation. It feels like the time, the energy, the whatever, like, situation, the circumstances, whatever it was, like, a decision needed to be made. And of course, again, feeling your feelings, but also knowing that you are capable, deserving, you have the capacity to get through this. You have learned a lot. Like, allow yourself to use that data. Like, not to be like kind of nerdy or like analytical. I have a Virgo moon, so I think that's why that it comes up that way. But analyze the data, right? Like, I mean, learn the lessons. Like, what did you take from this, good, bad, otherwise? Also, like I was saying, the sky is the limit for what is next. What do you want to get involved in? Where do you want to invest your energy and your time? What experiences do you want to have? What connections do you want to make? the Queen of Swords. I feel like this is getting clear in your head. The next steps that you want to take, and not to mention their eyes are closed and there's this image of this eye in her hand. So that to me feels like following your intuition. And frankly, being less in your head, even though this is the Queen of Swords, which is air, which is your head and your mental space and all of that. It's almost, like aligning that with your intuition, like allowing your intuition to guide you, even strategy and authority, because truly, like, your strategy and authority is designed to help you enter into the quote unquote correct experiences for you. Even playing around with that. But again, like, if you're not super familiar with human design, follow your intuition, because no doubt, for the most part, if we do that, then we are in effect usually following our strategy and authority in some capacity. I love it. I love this. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.